hurt, you probably shouldn't do something on that on the racetrack.
So I can throw one punch and you can throw one back at me, then break us up.
Yeah, sure. I don't know. I mean, I don't know the right answer on it for sure. But I mean, Noah certainly got the bad end of it, and I think he was halfway to having a real nice connection on the second.
Well, okay, I understand you can look at it two different ways from a driver, but how would you look at it from an owner if it's your guy that maybe is the one who's going to get cocked the second shot and now he's got a broken jaw or something like that, and now you've got to...
Yeah. I mean, that's really but that's what is self-policing about the sport, right? I mean, back in the day, you used to you get junked for a few weeks, or you did have your eye dotted. So, I mean, if you take that away, then we're more likely to handle it on the racetrack. I don't know which one you deem worse.
Which goes back to now the confusion of what you can do and can't do on the racetrack.
It's a full circle.
2311's been active in the silly season market the last few years. It looks like you guys are going to be pretty quiet this year. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of things we got to work through over the next few months for sure, and so we're just kind of really focused on make sure we get in our building on time.
And then you mentioned last week signing an extension or anything like that. Would you anticipate being a multi-year deal with JGR?
I'm not sure. We got to work out all those details. Again, there's just too much hinging on other things, other factors that links it all together, puts it all together. A lot of factors got to get worked out.
So it could just be like a 1 year extension, conceivably.
I mean, it could be a 0 year through a 5 year for sure.
Denny, there was a letter NASCAR owners sent to team owners sent to NASCAR about negotiations on the charter. Where do you guys stand on that? Do you feel like progress is being made that you'd like to see?
Well, I think there was a little bit of traction. However, it looks like NASCAR's not acknowledging the negotiating committee anymore. They'd rather just do it the way they did 20, 30 years ago, and meet with team by team and try to pick them off one by one and get a good deal done that way.
How frustrating is it when you see this week again, it's a different sport, but the Washington Commanders sold for $6 billion. I mean, obviously, I don't know if a NASCAR team is going to get to that high level, but you want to at least be able to have that opportunity to raise the stakes. And what's the value of these organizations right now?
Well, I certainly made it, just from my standpoint. I'm not even talking about my partner. Just from my standpoint, right, is I've invested a lot back into this sport that I've taken out of it. I'd like to see a path towards getting that back. I'm not trying to make money. I'm trying to give back to the sport, but I shouldn't lose money. And so I certainly believe that we got to work out something that's better than what we have. There's no doubt both sides acknowledge that, but actions and words certainly are two different things. But for a long time, God love Penske and Hendrick and those guys, but it's not helped the way they've done things in the past. Kind of just using this as a hobby because the stakes are lower. They make a lot more money in their other businesses, and it's just allowed the way things have gone for a long time to go on, and it's certainly those have been the only ones that have been sustainable. There's every other owner's just come and gone because they couldn't sustain the downswings of it. So I just don't know that there's that many billionaires looking to just come in here and throw away money every year. I worry about the longevity if that continues to be the business model, but I don't. Hopefully, it changes. I think both sides acknowledge it needs to change. It's just whether I think we acknowledge it to the same degree or not.
And without a charter, you would have never gone into ownership.
Well, I certainly don't want to lose my $20 million for sure. I mean, that's just a fact, and it's just worrisome that it all comes down to it can come down to one person saying that they want to or not want to renew it. That's just too risky. Got to give us some sort of security.
Denny, 2 weeks we're going to the house that Bruton built. When you think about Bruton Smith, what do you think about? And do you have any good personal memories? But talk about Bruton Smith.
Well, I mean, the guy was an innovator for sure. I mean, I think that his they really, SMI in general was built on working for the fans, putting on an entertaining show. I think that next week's going to be absolutely a great atmosphere. Applaud them for willing to revive that racetrack. It's the first revival I think of a sports facility in a very long time, if at all. So I applaud them for investing in it, and obviously working hard to get state funds to help was crucial to this getting done. And hopefully we can continue that trend on future tracks.
What's
Any
your
personal interaction with Bruton?
No, I mean, it was he was just starting to taper off his role at SMI when I was coming into the sport. So I had very limited interaction with him. But again, I just hear and know people that did have a lot of interaction with him. And he was a guy that was willing to invest in the sport in a big way. So he's helped make this sport what it is, that's for sure.
any timeline on when you think your contract might be resolved?
I'm not sure. I'd like sooner than later.
So what do you think about North Wilkesboro next week? How excited are you, and how big of a deal would it be to win that race?
It would be big for sure. I mean, I've never got to experience running laps there in real life. Certainly, I feel like it's a wheelhouse type track for me, short track and high tire wear. But you just never know. I thought Tyler Reddick was very fast in the test there, so that's a good sign. But now looking at pictures, there's patches all over the place that we're going to be trying to, it's going to be like the power button in Mario Kart that you're going to be swerving all around trying to hit these patches to get more grip. So it could be interesting for sure.
Have you ever been to North Wilkesboro? Have you ever been to North
Never
Wilkesboro?
been. Driven by it a million times when I go up to the mountains to golf.
Danny, talking more history, being part of the 75 greatest drivers of all time, that's got to be quite an honor in this sport.
Yeah, it is, and I mean, you certainly don't take it lightly. And you look at the guys that are on it. A lot of them I looked up to for many years. I was joking with Kansas. I was thinking, man, I thought you were old enough to be in the first 50, but it's crazy, to be on the list with those guys, and certainly, there's a lot of people that will work their way into that list as time goes on. A lot of young guys coming up in the sport that'll join us.
You weren't sure what they were calling about when you saw Mike's name pop up.
Jim.
Jim, sorry.
Yeah, my one-on-one calls with him usually aren't that pleasant. So for once, it was a pleasant one. I was happy to hear it.
What were your interactions like with Kel Yarborough through the years?
Yeah, he. I got to ride around in the truck with him after intros one year, and man, he is a grassroots guy for sure. I mean, even just the way he talks, the way I ask him what he's doing now, and still doing the same thing, working, and so it's just great to hear. He was such a competitor and so good at this racetrack, and David Pearson was as well. But I wish I got to race against some of those older era guys in the same cars.
Go on.
You and Tony Stewart continue to be such close friends, were teammates for such a long time. How special is it to tie him on the wins list?
It is special, surreal, all that stuff. I mean, Tony won a lot of races. I don't feel like I've won that many, but yeah, I just got bigger goals now, trying to chase down a few others. But it really motivates me, honestly. I was kind of stuck at that 48 for so long that it was like, can we get where we want to go? But now certainly it's motivating to try to pick off the next 5 or 6 in line.
Danny, you said you got goals 11 more to get to 60. As a race driver, you lose a lot more than you win. Do you think back how many you'd easily have 11, right? If it's just a few.
The last 4 years, there's 11. No, actually, I'm sorry. The last 2 years we've left 11 on the table. But again, you're not always going to win races you should win. Statistically, you should win about 45% of the races where you feel like you got the fastest car. Unfortunately, that rate for us is quite a bit lower than that percentage. So certainly would love to have him back, but we can't, and now we're going to go try to get it the other way.
Gotcha.
That's part of the contract stuff tied in with FedEx and everything too, and what they decide to do.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I think it's more kind of Toyota based, to be honest with you.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.